For today's demo, and you're all listening as well, and Yemen is going to close that front door, we will be going over our project for the geometric shapes. What we are learning about today are how to use the shape tool, the line segment tools, and other things like that, and learn about moving, scaling, rotating, and arranging objects, which is a big deal. All right? We are going to learn how to delete and select objects, create rectangles and ellipses, some of the other shapes, create spirals, polar grid, transform again, which is a big deal to me. I will show you how to do that. And arranging objects, which is very, very important. I need you to really concentrate on learning how to do this. This will determine how well you do in Illustrator and your conceptualization, and how you build, not draw, in Illustrator. All right? Here, you will notice this object or this creation was, if I press Control Y shows me the outline view. They're all shapes that are overlapping each other. All right? For instance, these two shapes that are here, the joints for the hips, are hidden beneath the shape that I made for the pelvic bone or whatever it is. Okay? That is how you show overlap in here. Okay? You don't try to do this, is draw this, and then try to erase it, which is not the way you do it. Some people are using the eraser tool and like, hey, how about I erase that part of it? Yeah, you can do that, but it's annoying and it doesn't look as clean and nice, okay? Just leave it there, stop working too hard, and just leave that thing. Just understand how you're going to throw it underneath, all right? I made this shape for shadow underneath, kind of neat. These guys I put over top of and underneath of each other. When we are creating these shapes, I'm going to make a new document just so you guys know. We start off with print, letter, we're good to go. I like it. I have these two things out. My shape tools, my line segment tools, and that's it for now. To make a background, I would just make a large, whoops, that is not the right tool. I'd use a large rectangle. All right? We're going to have a blue sky. This is your control panel. You'll only see this if you're in Essentials Classic. This is your control panel. It lets you know what's going on with that shape. That shape has no fill. That red arrow through there means that there's no fill. Here, I've now put a fill onto it. All right? If I double-click within here, within the fill, which is down here, I will have the color picker. I can increase or decrease its shade, whatever I want to do. To make ground, same idea. Again, this box is our art board. This is what we'll print out. What's a good color for some ground? I don't know. Green. Perfect. Great. Now I have a foreground and a middle ground. Or at least I have a horizon line where my robot's going to go. I would take these things and lock them so they don't move. You can either lock them in the layer itself and just press lock, and now they won't move. They shouldn't. Control Z. There we go. Now they won't move. Or if I just wanted to select the two things, I'm selecting it. In other words, here's a marquee. Do you see this square that I'm making? That's called a marquee. If I drag that, click and drag that over more than one object, it selects both those objects. If I just click and drag it over one, it selects that object. If I click this one object and then hold Shift, it selects more than one object as well. Those are different ways. Now, if I have, say, a dozen different objects all around here, and I just want to select a couple of them, say I want to select just a few of them, I hold down Shift and I deselect certain objects. The other ones I will leave alone, and then I can, change their color how I want to. Does that make sense? All right, so Shift adds to or deletes or removes from a selection. All right, these are all selected. I'm going to hold Shift and deselect this guy right here and move the rest of them. Hold Shift, deselect this big guy here. Hold Shift, deselect that guy. Maybe change its color. You can kind of see how it's working now. Now maybe I press Control G and group them. That's another thing, grouping these objects so that when I select them again, these are all grouped together. Now I can select all these guys, Control G, group them together, and they will move together when I click and drag. If I need to scale it up and down, I hold Shift from the corner. Shift is a way to constrain the proportions. If I get close to the edge of the bounding box, that's these 6 dots around a selection in a square, you can scale up and down by clicking and dragging. You'll see that line. I am holding Shift right now. If I'm not, it's going to get distorted. Or if I hover a little bit further out from it, you'll see a curved line. That allows me to rotate things. What I want you guys to do, and that's been shown here, is show me that you know how to take an object, say for instance, a rounded rectangle, all right, and then I can copy it. Write this down. A quick way to make a copy is by clicking, dragging, and holding Alt. I've now made a copy. Control D is transform again, which is in that sheet. Control D, I can make many copies. What I want to do is I want to see you guys maybe rotating slightly. I can change the center of rotation by going to the rotate tool. Rotate that slightly. Selection tool, deselect, rotate. See what I'm doing? I'm showing evidence that I understand these concepts, that I know how to do this, okay? I'm not saying I have to use all of them, but there we go. And I can arrange these around and have some fun. That's how I made these kind of like pipe-looking arms here. Same thing here. Let's zoom in close. How did I make these claws? Circle upon another circle upon another circle upon a round rectangle, and this is a triangle at the end. How do we make triangles? Star tool or the polygon tool, and then press up or down arrow. This is the down arrow. Now I've got a triangle. If I hold Shift at the same time, it makes it nice and neat. Here's the star tool. If I press up or down with the star tool, you'll see it does the same thing. You have rays coming in and out. If I hold Control, I can click and drag. I'm still holding that right or that left click button down. And then when I finally do release all the buttons, and I release my hands, that will lay down this object. Okay? Play around with that idea. You're building shapes. You're using these shapes according to the directions, which are here. Alright, you will notice all the different things you do. I will know that you have done a good job if you've read all these directions and you've taken notes. How to arrange things. If I want to put this below, Control left bracket, which is next to the P, we'll put it below that object. This object is now in front, you can see. If I want to put this object behind it, arrange is right click, arrange, send backward, Control left bracket, Control left bracket. I'm now sending it below. Above or below. I'm going toggling back and forth between left bracket and right bracket. If you look at the layers over here, you can see how it actually, the action that is occurring. I'm going to scroll down. Here's the star, right? When I am Control left bracketing, you'll see that it's going below all these other objects. Where are these other objects in my composition? They're over here. Remember I did them up here? So it doesn't matter where you are. Control minus will let me zoom out. You can see that these objects, which are up here, are still a part of that composition because they're in that layer. All right?